Hello, my name is Justin Valenti. I am 25 years old and I live in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I have Creutzfeldt syndrome and autism. Both have impacted and shaped my life. However, I've accomplished many things even though I carry the diagnosis of genetic disorder and a disability. Where do I start? I guess I'll start with communication. One of my very first accomplishments was that I learned how to use sign language to communicate. I used sign language before learning how to talk. Once I figured out how to talk, I had a lot to say, so much that I've been asked to represent the disability community on several occasions. When I was younger, I spoke to a committee for the U.S. House of Representatives and also to the Maryland State Legislature. I spoke to both groups as an advocate for people who have disabilities. Another significant accomplishment that I'm proud of is my ability to read and write. I enjoy reading books and I am very good at writing. My handwriting isn't that great, so I just use a computer to write. It's faster and everyone can read my writing that way. You may not be aware that I published 2 books which you can buy on Amazon and Lulu. Both are book publishing websites. I am also working on a 3rd book which is going to be a graphic novel based on my own original story. Look for it to be published hopefully sometime this fall. I also learned how to walk when I was a toddler. I was not steady on my feet and that made my parents quite nervous, but over time and with a lot of physical therapy and orthotics, I was able to master walking independently. Now that I'm an adult, I walk many places, but I also use other forms of transportation. I take taxis, Uber, and Lyft sometimes, but typically I use the Washington, D.C. area public transportation system independently to get around. The metro is my favorite. Socially, I've been able to make and keep friends and spend time with many of my friends on a regular basis. My friends and I go to the movies, restaurants, and concerts, but we have not been able to do any of these activities due to the pandemic. I have various groups of good friends who I hang out with. Before the pandemic, I participated in overnight activities with my peers, such as Maryland's Partners in Policymaking Program in 2019, the Maryland Youth Leadership Forum. I have also trained both law enforcement officers and other self-advocates through an organization called People on the Go of Maryland. In addition to my involvement in advocacy, I also participate in other activities. I am a participating visual artist with Visibility, the VisArts Art Center in Rockville, Maryland. Visibility is an organization for people with disabilities who like to create artwork. I've learned through trial and error that my favorite type of art to create is fluid painting. I even taught an online fluid painting class once. I was also in the marching band when I was in high school. Now I play the set in a band for people who have disabilities. It's called Neurodiversity. You can check out some of our material on YouTube. Look for a video called Neurodiversity Teaser. As you can see, I'm involved in a lot of community activities. I was also involved as a student in high school. Back then I was in my school's marching band. We won the Maryland State Championship in 2012. It's something that I am very proud of. I was also involved in Best Buddies in my school's weekly TV news program. I graduated from high school with a diploma in 2014. After graduation, I went to community college for a couple of years. I took non-credit and credit classes at the local community college, but really didn't find college to be my thing. After high school was a difficult time for me. I wasn't ready for such a big change in my life to occur. To try community college for one semester, I got a job at a kennel. Dogs are one of my interest areas. However, I found out that my fear of severe weather was far more important to me than the joy I got being around the dogs. So I quit my job at the dog kennel. One thing that I learned as a young adult was that I really missed the social inclusion that I had in high school. Almost everyone in my friend group went away to school. Found myself alone and I did not like it. I tried a couple of different day programs for adults who have disabilities where I met some new people. One of the day programs is a partial hospitalization program at a local hospital. Another day program was a program where we went on outings and participated in different groups with other people during the week. After trying these activities and day programs out, I decided that I was ready to try another job. My parents helped me with the job search process, and one of their friends offered to see if their company would hire me to help around the office. I worked in the office and figured out that I liked doing that type of work. This was a turning point in my life that put me on the path where I am now. For those that had a chance to hear me talk at the Pittsburgh conference in 2018, I have some new things to share that you might not know about. Since 2018, I completed a job training program called Project Search, which is for people who have disabilities. Since July of 2020, I've served as a federal employee for part-time for the National Institute of Mental Health in Bethesda, Maryland. The time spent in the social advocacy groups I mentioned earlier paid off. I'm currently serving on the board of directors for the ARC Maryland. There's one more thing I'd like to highlight. Back at the 2018 5B- Societies Conference, I mentioned that one of my near-term goals was to learn how to ride a bike. You'll be happy to hear that I did learn how to ride a bike independently after the conference that summer. So far, my longest ride was 13 miles on the Great Allegheny Passage Rail Trail. I rode from Frostburg to Cumberland, Maryland in September of 2019. I was able to accomplish all these things by being included to the extent possible. Communication development was also an important element. My parents used my interests, strengths, and weaknesses to guide choices, and they did their best to not impose a ceiling on what I might do. Being allowed to fail and eventually master was also key to my success. Despite the pandemic, I strive to continue to do the things that I enjoy doing, and I do not let anything hold me back. Some of my goals for the future are to have a girlfriend, to hopefully get my driver's license, and to live independently. Thank you for your time, and enjoy this year's conference.